Hello everybody, welcome to the O2 Arena here in London. I'm going to be playing over there tonight on the Gabrielle tour, but today's interview is with one of London's finest bass players, Mr. Dayna Fisher. Dayna plays with huge artists like Jess Glynne, Dave, Joy Crooks, many, many more, all over the world, huge TV shows, huge venues like this one. I want to talk to him about that, about his two Overwater J series. He has a contemporary J you may have seen from us recently and a classic J5. We're also going to be talking about Dayna's upbringing in UK churches, how that has influenced his playing and his tone, his ear training, that kind of stuff. This is a really great interview. Dayna's one of my favorite bass players, so I'm really excited to share this one with you guys. Enjoy it. I'll speak to you soon. Tell us what you're up to at the moment. I've seen you've been in rehearsals with Jess and some bits like that. What's going on this summer?
Yeah, so been with Jess. She's just got some summer shows throughout like Isle of Wight and a few different festivals and some Justin Timberlake support shows, which should be sick. I'm really looking forward to those. So yeah, we did a week of rehearsals. This is a little while ago, but I just post clips late, so I still have content to post. Yeah, we did it. We did it rehearsals like the start of May. It's fun. Nice to be back in with the guys. Yeah, just summer shows, and then outside of that, working with this new girl called Lauren. She's Ray's little sister. Wow. So yeah, but she's amazing. She's like very, very good, amazing singer and songwriter. So kind of excited. It's nice to work with new artists again. I think I've been working with a lot of established artists, which is great because it pays good, but it's nice to work with someone that's like fresh, I guess, just to get that new project kind of feeling. So that's been fun. And getting married in like 2 weeks. So, well, I don't know when this is going to go out, but yeah, getting married very soon. So 2 weeks happening.
Yeah, well, in about by the time I've posted this, probably about a week, you'll be nearly there, man. So
yeah,
amazing! Congratulations.
So, thank you. So yeah, it's a lot happening right now, and then also this this thing called Vibe Village, which is like a R&B. It's like a night we put on every few months, like an R&B showcase night. But we're starting to expand into a few different areas, and like open mic regularly, and then a few other things, content and stuff like that. So there's a lot happening right now. It's a very busy time.
Yeah, sure. Fantastic. Did you say the girl was called Ray's sister?
Lauren Amma or Lauren Keane. Yeah, I'm not sure what her artist name is going to be yet, but
you're getting 3 bass solos on a gig.
Nah, that's that. Oh no! Oh my gosh, no, that's
someone else.
Yeah, that's Linda Dawn. How did I forget? Sorry, Linda. Yeah, no, Linda Dawn. Kind of jazz soul, eclectic kind of music. Very vibe. It's fun actually. We just went to Poland. We did a venue called Jasmine out there in Poland. Really nice venue. It's like in Nobu Hotel, like in the basement in Poland, in Warsaw.
Nice.
But really lovely venue. Yeah, that's where I've been getting all these bass solos. So I've had to I'm not really a solo guy, contrary to popular belief. I like to play within a song, but like be expressive within a song. But actually giving the space to solo, it's like I've actually got to think about it a bit more. But yeah, it's interesting.
What's your approach for stuff like that? Are you just doing it off the cuff, or do you kind of like to have a little bit of a plan with where you're going to go with a solo? Like, how do you get into that?
I generally have a plan. I don't have the notes I'm going to play, but I've got... I'll start slowly, maybe bring in a groove here and then end with a long thing kind of thing. So I guess I structure the solos, but I don't structure the notes I'm planning to play. But,
so you're doing it differently every night, but you've got an arc to it.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. Especially, particularly on this gig. If it's like maybe a pop gig and I'm giving a solo, I might play the same thing every night just to make sure it's clean and I don't fluff up. But on this where it's a bit more free. Yeah, because, if it's on like Radio 1 or something, I don't want to have a big old mistake there for the rest of my life. Yeah, this is where it's a bit more free. I'm like, Linda doesn't mind. Like, I feel like I've got the freedom to kind of make mistakes, but figure it out kind of thing. So it's definitely
something nice, man. It's nice to have that.
Yeah.
That room to stretch in a pop gig is nice because I think my approach is the same. Like with Gabs, or I get a little solo with Boys Life this summer as well, and I kind of already know what I'm going to do. Yeah. With like the Boys Life one, it's just a band intro, so you've got like 8 bars. I kind of want to do something that I know is going to be effective in 8 bars, and not just kind of like
exactly.
Be searching and then it's over anyway. So like
yeah. I've been with the soloing thing as well. It's definitely something I'm like growing into, but I've been trying not to go away from the groove too much and still like incorporate it into what I'm doing because I am still a bass player, you know. I think,
Yeah.
and like, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just my personal thing. I feel like I used to just okay solo, like just go high, play a bunch of notes. It's like I don't think, particularly not with pop. I don't think people care. Like regular people don't care. So I'd rather just make them dance a bit than play a million notes.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah,
I think that's it, isn't it? You have to remember the context you're playing in still. You need to kind of keep it in the pocket at least. So people are
yeah,
still like bobbing their heads and
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah, I think context, as you said, is the important thing. Like, there's a part on the Jess show. Well, it's not actually there anymore. We took it out. But there was a part on the Jess show where it gets a little solo. What I liked about it is we
Yeah.
kept it within the groove of the song. So I'm soloing, but I'm kind of just playing the part with extra fills. And then the drums, same thing. Keys, same thing. Guitar, well, guitar actually solos, but that's a guitarist. So yeah, you know.
They're allowed to, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's their thing. But yeah, we have to
That is their
remember
thing.
well the groove is always king, isn't it?
Exactly. Exactly.
What's your rig like with Jess? Are you playing electro? There's a bit of synth on that gig as well, I think.
Yeah, it's quite an involved setup. I've got two synths, Moog and a King Korg. A lot of their music is synth. To be fair, on a show, I'm playing a lot of bass, even on the songs that have
Yeah.
synth on the record. Like, there's certain songs where it might be two or three different synth sounds on that one song. So I kind of need the two synths because I hate switching between patches really quickly. Because if I miss the button, then it's just, I'm in trouble. And that's happened many times,
Yeah.
many times. Because they don't make patch switch buttons big enough. They're just always like little tiny buttons to change patches. And I've missed countless times. So, yeah, I've got two Sims on there, and then I've got my lovely Overwater signature, well, custom thingy,
Hey,
white
well
bass. I
done.
don't actually have it with me today because it's on the road. It's with Jess, so I don't actually have it with me. But I've
Nice.
got my other one here, yeah, the blue one next to me.
Jimmy
Yeah.
Clark's old bass, I think that is.
Is it his? Yeah, it's lovely, man. This one.
I think
It's
so.
picked it
Yeah,
up.
I was talking to Chris about it. I haven't actually spoken to Jimmy, but
Yeah.
Jimmy does a lot of different stuff. But he was doing who was it? Gloria Gaynor. I Will Survive, the disco thing. He was doing that gig for a long time, and the brilliant bass player. I inherited a function gig off of him many years ago.
Nice. Yeah.
But yeah, he's a good dude, man. Really good
Mm-hmm.
player. That bass looks
Mm-hmm.
cool. That was
Yeah.
your first that was the first Overwater you really got your hands on, wasn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Aside from like the demo one you sent me, but yeah, no,
Yeah, sure.
this bass is really great, man. I actually really like it. The color is amazing. It's so nice.
Yeah,
And I don't
it
actually
looks sick.
have many rosewood basses, so that's a cool feature. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
is that a conscious thing? Ian King had a thing where he wants his instruments to be naturally quite bright sounding, so he always goes
mhm,
for a maple neck and
yeah,
maple top. Is that a conscious thing with you, or has it just kind of worked out that way?
kind of both. I think it worked out that way. And then I discovered I do like maple necks generally with,
Yeah.
especially with like jazz basses. I do want that bright sound. So
Hmm.
yeah, I guess a bit of both. Yeah, but yeah. And then
Yeah.
yeah, I've got a P bass as well on the Jess gig and a bunch of pedals. Very.
Yeah.
I found with pop nowadays, the way music is made, there's a lot of processing on instruments. Like
Hmm.
if someone records a bass on a track, it might get compressed and distorted and you'll hear so much processing on that bass. Or it might be a fake bass, like those Scarby,
Yeah.
a native instrument, like bass plugins. So I found a lot of the tones I hear are super processed. So I kind of want to have a pedal board to just recreate that. Like as much as
Okay.
I personally just like playing super clean. I don't really actually want to use pedals, but I find I have, especially
Yeah.
because I'm really particular. So I like to be able to recreate the exact tone as close as possible on the record. So
Mm.
yeah, just use pedals. And then sometimes I don't want to play synth, so I use octaves and fuzzes and stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say because Dish did the Jess Glynne gig before you, didn't
Yeah,
he? And he's
yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
everyone that Dish likes to use a lot of pedals and get a
Yeah,
lot of those sounds with his bass. So if you kind
yeah,
of you kind of half and half, are you? So some on the keys and some through the pedal board.
yeah, for sure, man. This is my guy. I've
Yeah,
definitely learned a lot from him pedal wise. Him and wow, how's his name? Left my head.
Dave
David
Baker.
Belair.
It's going to be Dave
Dave.
Baker.
Oh my gosh, Dave
Yeah,
Baker.
Dave.
Sorry,
Yeah,
I
Dave
don't know why I
Baker.
said
Yeah,
Dan. Jeez, man. Yeah, Dave Baker. I'm thinking about it.
Not
Yeah,
me. I don't know anything about pedals. If I have any questions, I ring Dave as well.
yeah, no, but yeah, Dave, Deshaun, and Tim Jacobs. He's like big rigs. He
Yeah.
builds a lot of. Yeah, I've definitely learned a lot from them through about pedals and synth sounds and stuff like that. And YouTube, like do you know that Ian Martin Allison guy does like
Yep.
Scott's bass lessons? Yeah, those are the guys
Yeah.
I've taken a lot from in terms of creating synth sounds. So I've definitely taken on some of that to where, and sometimes it sounds cooler than a synth, like just having a bass and you can still have the kind of expressiveness. Because I'm not as good on synth as I am on bass.
Yeah.
So yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you're pretty good though. I've heard you play synth. You're pretty good, man. If I'm playing synth, I'm doing the one finger thing.
That's what I'm like too. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's hard
it's
work.
bad.
Most of the time, it's funny, isn't it? Different MDs have different approaches with that because quite often I've gone into rehearsals on something and I've kind of got all the sounds worked out on my pedal board, and even if it's just like there's drive on the bass and because it's a bit of a
Yeah,
rocky thing or something, and quite often they want it clean anyway.
yeah,
And they'll kind of
yeah.
they'll add something onto the track if they want the extra
Hmm.
kind of production, but they just want kind of clean fat bass.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So yeah, everyone's different really. There's some
Yeah,
MDs that will have everything on track, and then some that want to take as much off track as possible, and like you
yeah,
cover what you can cover. Yeah, it's just learning to work with different people, learning to work with the music, and doing whatever feels right. Whatever feels right in the end gets the best result is what works basically. So as much as there's times where I've prepared, I spent hours getting the synth sound ready, and they're like, "Yeah, can you just play it on bass?" I was like,
I think I've been burnt by that one too many times because now I'm just
"Yeah,
like I'll have it in. I won't even get it out the car. Like I'll have it in the boot just in case. But like, do you want?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Because I
for
know,
sure."
I like particularly if it's Jesse on Gab, I know he's gonna want it on bass. So like,
Right, yeah,
it's
yeah.
fine. If we're getting some new tunes together or something, then like
Hmm.
I kind of have it all in the locker just in case. But I
Yeah,
pretty much already know Jesse's just gonna want clean bass,
yeah, yeah,
and then
fair
yeah,
enough.
if they want anything extra, they
Yeah,
might put it on the track. But
yeah. How
but
was the
that's
tour, by
cool.
the way?
That makes my life easy. Yeah, it was good,
Yeah,
man. Really good.
yeah.
It was great to do. Like I've been on that gig with Gabrielle for over 10 years now, I think.
Well,
And the
yeah,
progression of kind of the shows we were doing 10 years ago, doing the O2 and AM
yeah.
Arena and stuff like that is really big. So yeah, it was really fun. It was nice. Some really nice moments for everyone,
Mhm,
particularly obviously Gab and Jesse of Louise
mhm.
Chambers, who've all been there a long time.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was cool,
for
man. It was
sure.
really nice,
That's wicked,
really
man.
nice. Quite short as well. Like it's funny. Like
Right.
it was only 3.5 weeks of actual shows, and then we had like
Yeah.
a week and a half of rehearsals.
Mhm.
So yeah, it wasn't too hard on the family either, which is always quite a good
That's
thing
good.
for the.
Yeah.
Now I've got two little boys now, so yeah, it makes it an easier sell to be like, it's only it's not even a month. I'll be home soon and have some money in the bank. It's all good. So we just saw your original J series. So the custom bass that we've done for you is a contemporary J. Can you tell us about some of the features on that? Obviously, I know it's on the road with Jess at the moment, but
Yeah,
what
yeah,
are some
yeah.
of the custom features on there? I know you've got an inlay. I haven't
Mhm.
read the Bible, I'm afraid, so I haven't done enough homework. I should have found out what that is. But what's it all about? What have you got on there? You got some custom pickup covers, and what's the
Yeah,
preamp
so
doing? Tell us all about it.
a lot happened with that bass. Yeah, so as you said, it's the contemporary J, 24 fret. I wanted the extended range.
Okay, yeah.
I think it's 18 or 18.5 millimeter string spacing at the bridge. I can't remember the exact number,
Hmm.
but I wanted something just slightly smaller than the usual 19, just for
Okay,
ease. So I get less
yeah.
fatigue when playing. 34.5 scale length, I believe. So, and the wood is ash or some. Well, I actually don't remember. That's pretty bad. I think it's swamp ash or ash
I don't
body.
I don't know with my bass. It'll be a swamp ash. It'll be a swamp ash body with a maple top. I'm pretty sure on
Probably,
yours,
yeah,
and
yeah.
you've also got quite a nice. I think you've got a bird's eye maple neck and fingerboard and stuff.
Yeah, I love it. The neck is so pretty. I wish I had it with me so I could like describe it more. But yeah, it's a bird's eye maple neck. I think it's a three-piece neck at the back, but the fingerboards bird's eye maple. Gold hardware. It's actually got black hardware on the knob, so I'm changing that to gold at some point.
No,
The
yeah,
pickups
I
are,
saw that. I was like,
yeah,
you're gonna want to change them.
yeah. Yeah, but I think at the time I kind of had to rush Chris a bit because I had a American TV performance, and I really wanted to have the Overwater for that performance, so I had to rush Chris a little bit.
This bass has been a bit of a collaboration, and it's kind of an ongoing project still with
Yeah, yeah,
between
for
Chris and
sure.
Dayna, essentially. Where so what he's got at the moment is not necessarily the finished product. We want to keep
Yeah,
tweaking,
yeah,
keep
yeah,
trying to
for
find
sure.
ways to make it the perfect bass for you. And it's because there's an element of kind of research our end with it as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
We want to kind
exactly.
of use your ears and your experience
Hmm.
to tweak the bass. So yeah,
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
been a fun project, and we're actually doing going to be doing one for myself as well. Actually, the
Nice.
similar styling to yours, and
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of my thing with it. Is I want it to, because my J series is nearly 20 years old now, so
Wow.
I love the sound. I kind of feel like that sound of that bass is kind of very much part of my thing now. But I want to kind of recreate that tone, but with the contemporary J series styling and
Yeah.
in a real up to date instrument. Because we don't, mine's
Yeah.
kind of so old. There's bits of it we don't really make them like that anymore. So yeah, I'm excited to get into that project with Martin and Chris this year. And your bass has really resonated with a lot of people on social media, and I know I've heard from guys like Big Ben and Eddie Lopez, and
Hmm.
people that have kind of bumped into you out there in the world, and they've
Yeah.
really been enjoying it. And yeah, it's cool, man.
Yeah, it's cool, man. It's got a lot of clarity. Like, I like, generally with my tone, I like, mostly, I want a bass to be round and fat, but I do like quite a direct, clear tone, like it with like a
Yeah.
almost growly low mid. Just because I found when you play big arenas, the kind of warm, round tone doesn't cut through in the big rooms.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, just especially if you want. I mean, it depends on the genre. If I'm just playing low notes, holding low notes, it's fine. But if I do want to express and embellish what I'm playing, the notes just won't get through the big synth, especially
Hmm.
on pop where there's like a million synths and everything going and drums. You can need something that kind of cuts through. That's my kind of general tone approach. So Space definitely does that. The pickups are cool. They're like a prototype thing Chris built, which is like really cool. The preamp is John East, the three band. Yeah. So it's bass, treble, mid frequency, and then mid, uh, yeah, gain, and then the passive tone control and all the
Nice.
bells and whistles,
Okay.
which is great.
So you've got the sweepable mids on there. Yeah,
Yeah,
you can
yeah,
find the mid frequency you want.
that's really big for me, especially well, what I just spoke about, being able to boost the mid. I like to choose what mid frequency to boost to cut through for a certain room, or even in a studio. Like I might want to take a
Yeah,
frequency out that's a bit annoying. So it's like a big for the versatility of the bass for sure.
sure. Is that something you
Yeah,
think about? Is there a balance to be found between finding a tone that's perfect in these and a tone that's perfect in a huge wall
yeah,
of
yeah,
speakers in an arena? Because what sounds great in these might not sound great in the room. So is that
exactly.
your approach? Is it's about finding those mids? Is it?
That is all I think about. Trying to like it got to a point where I would sacrifice my own enjoyment of the sound of my bass to sound good for the mix out front.
Yeah.
There's a particularly with my old ears. I've just got these new ears. I did a cheeky plug, but these Fur Audio in ears. I forgot which ones I got. They're the 5 driver ones, but they've got
Hmm.
this like bass port thing. So you have your usual driver there. They've got a second one there that like sends signal into your head. Basically, I hear low end differently to how I
Into the
used to with
bone.
my different ears. Yeah, yeah. It's like it goes. Yeah, I
Right.
don't know how to explain the science properly, but it sounds really good. And it means the sound I hear is actually closer to what people would hear out front. So I don't have to do as much of the compromising now. I can actually just enjoy my tone and I know it'll
Okay.
be represented in the same way out front, which is cool. But yeah, no, that is a big consideration to where I'm like, to the point where like MDs will be like, oh, your bass doesn't sound very bassy. I'm like, I know in the when we get to the festival, when you've got
Hmm.
18-inch big old sub, you're gonna get enough bass. But what I'm trying to do is
Yeah.
create the direct sound so you can hear the notes I'm playing and not just hear you just want to hear like
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
It's smart, man. I think it's I saw Rob Malarkey posted something about that quite a while
Hmm.
ago, about
Yeah.
there is a temptation to kind of like Marcus Miller your sound all the time, like
Right.
scoop all the
Yeah,
mids
yeah,
out
yeah,
and
yeah.
booster bass, booster treble, but that's because we're listening to things on tiny speakers all the time these days. When you put it into those, like you say, those huge subs, it's a very different game, isn't it? So yeah, it's an interesting one that I think it's kind of like that's one of the more kind of modern day issues that bass players have to think about now that we're not really
amps
hearing our
and stuff.
basses through our amps nearly as much anymore. So you've got to have a conversation with your front of house guy, with your musical director, like find that balance of like, of course you want the guys in the band and the MD to be like, the bass sounds amazing, but you've got to think about the audience as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's conversation I've always like. I always speak to the front of house guys and be like, "Oh, how's the bass sound? Do you need more bass? Do you need more mids?" Like, I like to have those conversations because I do like to control my signal. It's very rare. Well, it never happens anymore where I just go straight from my bass to a DI. I want to control the sound I'm sending them. Yeah, it's always a convo. But yeah, it's definitely important. Yeah, man.
What DI are you using? Are you quite fussy about that? I think it's another bass player thing these days, like really expensive DI boxes.
Extremely. Well, just right now I'm using an Avalon U5. That's been one of my favorites for years. But I've got a few. I've got this it's actually here. This Caveman BP1. This thing sounds amazing. It's like a Neve preamp-ish kind of copy or remake, but designed for bass. And it's really subtle, really, really subtle, but it gives a little low mid bump somewhere that it's just musical and literally works with all my basses. I don't know how they did it, but it just works with every bass. And whenever I hear a recording back when I've used this, the bass always sounds really good. And it's almost I don't actually hear it as much in my ears, but it shows in the end product. So yeah, really nice preamp that is. And then yeah, it's pretty much just those two I use. Or maybe sometimes I just go straight from my Galleon Kruger head. That sounds good as well. Yeah, just whatever. Honestly, I change it all the time. I was speaking to Dave actually recently, and I said I change my DI all the time. Every time we do a new run with Jess, I change it just for fun.
I've been thinking about the U5 thing as well. Like it's such a classic. Real clean kind of DI that I've been toying with the idea. But they're more expensive than they used to be though, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, they're pricey. I got mine on eBay both for like £200-300, and it's funny now because they're all like £600 now. I'm so glad I found those deals when I got them because it's crazy.
Yeah, man, 100%. I wanted to talk to you about growing up playing in church because I think my kind of route to making a living out and playing bass was I didn't like school much, so I dropped out of my A-levels and then kind of did like a BTEC in jazz, and then I did my degree. So kind of like it was all quite academic. You and your brother grew up playing in church. Can you tell us about that journey and like how do you go from being the kid watching the guys playing to getting your shot, and then how do you build from there and to kind of secure that spot so you're playing every Sunday?
I always say church is like the best training ground because you get thrown in the fire early. Like, I'll speak from my church, but I know this is the experience of a lot of churches. There was no rehearsals. There was just about got a set list maybe, but you pretty much showed up on Sunday and the singer would start singing and you got to find the key and find the chords and follow along. My dad used to play keys. My dad was a drummer, but he played keys in church most of the time. So he would like throw numbers at me and stuff like that so I could follow. But it trains you to be quick and it trains your ear to pick up things really quickly. So, and then from an early age, which is, I think church musicians, I don't think we recognize our privilege sometimes that from like 10 years old, we're playing in bands every week. Like not everyone actually gets that, which is something I didn't realize till much later. Is that not everyone gets that? They might not get to play in bands till they're already in college or uni type thing regularly. So, or maybe a school band or something, but the quality is probably not the best. So we're playing in like a good level of band weekly, which is just a great training ground. So you come into the industry, you still got to learn because church is quite expressive, and in pop you can't do that. There's still a learning curve, but you come in with a level of experience that not everyone has. It's a great training ground, basically. But for myself personally, I was lucky because my dad was the music director in my church, and he had a gospel choir. I started playing bass at 11, and pretty much straight away I got thrown into playing at church. So I didn't have to like wait in my own church. I just got thrown in the fire, and I'm sure I don't really want to hear some of those Sundays back. I don't think it sounded too good, probably. But yeah, from the jump, I got to play and figure it out. To be fair, with my dad's choir, he didn't let me in straight away. I had to get to a certain level first. But in church, I
Okay.
just got to play. I just got to play. Yeah, it was great, man. Did a lot of traveling with the choir. Got to play in lots of different countries. Experienced lots of different things. A lot of fun with my brother as well.
Wow.
And yeah, it just meant once I got to the industry, like once I finished college, I did like a year of A level, a year of music college, and then I didn't want to go uni, so I just went in. But I already had a level of experience traveling and like yeah, traveling with my instrument, working in different countries, working in rehearsals, doing lockout rehearsals. You know, I had a level of experience coming in that helped me for sure. So yeah, it was a great upbringing musically, a lot of fun, and yeah, it put me in a good place to build my career off for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean that kind of ear training is so invaluable.
Yeah.
When you get into rehearsals and the MD wants to add a line here and they just want to add a quick little 6251 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to hear that stuff kind of on the spot and find it is such a
Yeah,
skill,
yeah,
isn't it? Such an asset.
yeah.
Because no
And
one wants to be the guy that's like, what note does it
yeah,
start on? And
yeah,
the rest of the band's there for 10 minutes while you're trying to figure it out.
yeah. And it's funny because I can be quite impatient with that stuff. I need to like realize like not everyone
Yeah.
can pick it up super quick. I'm just like, can't you guys just
Yeah.
hear it? Just play it. Just play it. But nah, yeah, not everyone can do that. So
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, different bands have, you kind of got to be a bit more patient sometimes.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
So you're a confident guy. I know you believe in your abilities whenever you go into any situation, but what advice would you give to young Dayna? Like, how could you have made his progress in the business a little bit slicker, a little bit easier? What are some of the pitfalls that could have been avoided? What would you say to your younger self to help you out?
Good question. Good question. Good question. What can I say?
Deep. It's a deep one, man.
This is gonna sound bad, but um, like recognize opportunities a little bit over loyalty,
Mm-hmm.
I would say. There's times where,
Ooh, this is a
yeah, I know,
spicy one. I like
yeah,
it.
it's a bit spicy. It's a bit spicy. But like, there'll be times maybe I've committed to a gig or something, and as much as like you never want to
Yeah.
pull out of a gig last minute or stuff like that, a few opportunities where something big came in, and I turned it down out of like loyalty to whatever I was doing, whether that was friends or another gig or maybe a church gig or something like that. And I always think where would my career have been if I'd taken those opportunities? But then at the same time, maybe they just weren't for me, and maybe my reputation stayed clean because I didn't pull out of what I pull out of. So I don't know. I've just waffled there. I haven't said anything, but
No, I think that's an interesting one, man. Like, no, I had a situation a long time ago where I got asked to go and do a new band in Paris, and I was booked on like a unsigned showcase thing at the Bedford
yeah,
in Balham, and I
yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
good venue.
stayed loyal to the people. And I think the band in Paris, it could have been quite a big gig for me
Yeah,
at the time.
if you are gonna, pull out of something, make sure you've covered it yourself. Don't just pull out and leave them high and dry, is what I'd say. Make sure you've got
Hmm.
cover and good cover. And if you can't find that cover, then don't pull out. Because I think yeah, that's what I'd say.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, anyway, moving on from that specific topic, I think not playing for myself or not playing for the ratings of musicians and playing for the music. I think that's
Okay.
something I've learned in my older age where I think I just cared. I cared a lot about what people thought and trying to prove I'm this great bass player. In the last maybe 2 3 years, I've cared much more about just enjoying myself and enjoying music and not worrying too much about what people think. And I've had so much fun in the last 2 years playing music. It's been great. So I'd say that just stop worrying. Like some religious there, I'd say God will take you where He's going to take you, and yeah, just have a good time, have fun, because people respond to your energy. So have fun. What else would I say? This isn't necessarily advice for myself because I was always like this, but just being professional. I'd say for other young musicians, your talent will take you 50% of the way. being professional and being likable will take you a lot further. I always say when you're on the road, you only spend an hour on stage during the show, or you might spend an hour 30 show, hour sound check. That's 2 hours or 3 hours. The other 21 hours, it's just social. So you need to be likable on the road, or people aren't going to want to talk with you, and have good hygiene. I don't smell. Yeah. That
Yeah,
stop me
yeah,
from
yeah.
hiring someone if they have bad hygiene. So good hygiene. What else? Advice.
Sorry, that was the theme of the last tour. When
Really?
people smelling a bit busy, like they've been a bit busy. You don't want to be the one that smells busy on the bus.
Nah, not at all. Not at all. And then yeah, I'm trying to think advice to young Dana. Because to be fair, like what I was saying, because I had that experience touring with my family and stuff, I came into the industry knowing, and then my dad's had a lot of friends that were like musicians. Obviously, my dad was a musician, and he had a lot of friends, like, old friends that had done it. So I kind of knew what it looked like. So I had a good example. But yeah, like just being professional, learn songs. Don't half-ass it with learning songs. You only get one chance to make a first impression. So if you come in not knowing anything, and I'll speak for myself, if I'm working with a new musician and they come in not learning the songs, I'm not going to recommend you to anyone else. You know, I see it.
Yeah,
I see it as a. You can look at it as like a regular job. You come in on time, you do the work, you maybe go the extra mile, you get a promotion. That's a big gig. You have the right tools, you get promoted, you get a big gig. You keep going, you get recommendations. Word of mouth is everything, and bad news spreads much quicker than good news. So doesn't matter how small the gig is. You need to be on point because it only takes one person. Like, say it's a small little gig in a pub, but maybe one of the biggest MD in the UK just happens to be there that day. And if you sound bad, it's like, oh well, that guy doesn't sound good, and they kind of scrap you
yeah.
from their mind. And then again, I'm not really answering the question for myself, but like for new musicians, Instagram
No, this is
is
good.
your
Yeah,
yeah, Instagram is your CV now. I think the traditional CV is dying out amongst artists and managers, I would say. But like
yeah,
new artists and new managers. Anyone under 35, like they're not really gonna. Sorry, anyone under 35, any manager, in my experience, if you recommend a musician, they'll go, "Oh, let me see their Instagram." That's the first thing they ask.
hmm
They want to see. They want to see if you can play, but they want to see if you look cool. Basically, they want to see if your vibe suits the gig or whatever. Yeah, just make sure your Instagram looks good, whether that's videos or just photos. Make sure there's clean photos of you so people can see what you look like. It happens all the time where whenever people message me on Instagram, I always give them the time of day, and like if they want advice, I'll like take the time to give them advice. A lot of these guys don't actually
mm.
have photos of themselves on their Instagram, so they'll see me in person and be like, "Oh, Dana," I'm like, I don't know who this is. And we've had a full conversation on Instagram, but I don't realize who they are because they don't have photos of themselves. So yeah, make sure
Yeah.
your
It's
Instagram
just the
looks
neck
good,
of
man.
the base, and like
That
nothing else.
right? Yeah. So yeah, man, just be pro. Make sure stuff looks good. People listen with their eyes, so make sure it looks good whatever you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think people are better now, but yeah, that's definitely still a thing you have to be conscious of. Like, your Instagram is your CV, so like, let's
Yeah.
not have the drunken antics you got up to at the weekend, or like
Yeah.
pictures of your cats, and like, let's
Yeah.
kind of keep it on point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You got your close friends story for that. But if you're serious
yeah,
about being a musician,
yeah. What that's for the WhatsApp group, guys.
you know what I mean. If you're serious about your career, take it seriously. Your Instagram is your CV now, so for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, man. All right, there's some really good stuff in there. All right, then.
Mm.
So finally, we're just going to do a couple of hot takes because the internet loves a hot take, especially a controversial one. So, first one is, are amps dead? What are you saying? I know you've got Gallion Kruger to represent, so
I love amps, and I always um force my amp on stage, even if the production or the sound guy doesn't want it. I'm like, no, I'm having my amp on stage because I want that way. But the
mm,
amp isn't what the crowd hears or the broadcast hears or whatever it is. And unless you're in a small venue, if you're in a big venue, that's not what they hear. So what you need to work on is your DI tone. I would say. So I'm not gonna say amps are dead because I do like the sound of an amp, and like if I'm recording in like a B15 or something, it's great. And if I'm in a small
Yeah.
gig and I can bring my little GK cab with me, I'm a happy man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say spend time working on your DI tone, not just your amp tone. Yeah, that's my political answer.
Smart. Nice. I like it. Yeah, yeah. Good. And then finally, let's do who's on your Mount Rushmore of bass players. Who are your guys? Who are the four guys who inspired
Ooh,
you, who you still listen to? Like, who's up there?
Mount Rushmore, man. Okay, all right. This is personal one, yeah. It's not like a general. This is
Yeah,
my
yeah. It
personal.
can be
Yeah,
people you came up with. Doesn't have to be all the
yeah,
Marcus
yeah, yeah.
Millers and everyone like.
Okay. To be fair, Marcus Miller is on there.
Yeah.
I'll go.
Me too.
Yeah, I'll go Marcus Miller because I was listening to Marcus before I even played bass. Because my dad just used to play his albums in the house. Marcus Miller,
Nice. Yeah.
100%. I'm gonna put Jerry Grant on there. Rest in peace. He's a big
100%.
influence on my playing, and I think a lot of church guys that kind of grew up in our community looked up to him. So I'll put Jerry Grant on there.
I knew Joey a lot, and all of the best stuff I play on the Gabrielle gig, I nicked from Joey because he did it before
Yeah,
me.
he is. I think he's solidified as a legend in this country as a bass player for sure. So
Yeah.
yeah, he's definitely on my Round Rushmore. Two more. It's four, right, on the Round Rushmore.
Yeah, yeah, mate. I had to Google it before just in case, but yeah, it's four.
Oh man, this is tough. All right, so I've got Marcus, Jerry, Ethan Farmer. He plays with Lionel Richie and stuff, but he was one that he influenced my playing in my mentality. Like I definitely took like chops from him and stuff, but it's more a mentality. I remember he did an interview with I can't remember, it was a German guy. He did an interview once that I watched on YouTube, and the stuff he said, because in that time I was very much in a mode of like trying to conform, trying to fit in and be a good, standard session player. Like be clean, don't do too much. And he was like, that's the opposite of his mentality. He was like, no, I'm gonna stand out and do my thing and like not just stick to what he does. And why he said that, he was like, because I know now if someone calls me for a gig, they're calling me to do me. And that's the mentality I took on instead of just trying to instead of trying to water down how I play. That made me go even further in my direction type thing, because I was like, oh, I get that. And now I feel like I'm at that stage now where if someone calls me to play bass, they're not just calling a bass player. Like, I feel like they're calling Dayna because they know how I play. So
100%.
yeah. So and then on top of that, he's just an insane bass player. Like he's insane. One of my favorites for sure.
Ridiculous.
But
yeah.
But that mentality shift like changed my career, I think. So Ethan's up there for sure. And then one more spot, damn. So Marcus, Jerry, Ethan. I'm gonna go. I feel very controversial leaving Jameson off. I'm gonna leave Jameson off. And I'm gonna go Bernard Edwards. He's a Sheik's
Nice.
original bass player. Yeah, because some of the stuff, just some of the ghost note or like grace notes before he plays a note. Like if you listen to "I'm Coming Out," right? The bass line, he could just be going dun 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 dun, but he's going dun 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 dun. Like he's always adding that little grace note, and I feel like it adds so much to what he's doing. Obviously, all the Chic bass lines just sound great. Yeah, just those little details is something I do a lot now, and I think it just adds to your feel and everything you're doing. Yeah, I'll go with those four. I'll go Marcus Miller just because he's just the tone king. Jerry, Ethan Palmer, and Bernard Edwards.
That's a great list, man. I like it. Awesome.
Yeah.
Mate, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Problem.
Been loving the content with the new bass and the green one as well, but it's great seeing the basses out there in the world, and yeah, thank you for representing us so well out there.
Thank you for inviting me to the family, man. It's great.
No, man, it's been cool, and hopefully I'll see you at a festival over the summer. Hopefully, I don't know if our diaries line up, but we normally bump into each other at some point. So
yeah,
all right,
sure.
man. Take care. Have a great day.
Peace.
Cheers, man.